Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts, welcome back to our channel. 1 cent Lincoln Penny. The Lincoln Penny is a 1-cent coin featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse front side. It was first issued in 1909 and has undergone various design changes since. Then the reverse side initially featured the image of a wheat stalk. It was later replaced by the Lincoln Memorial and more recently the Union Shield. 5-cent Jefferson Nickel. The Jefferson nickel is a 5-cent coin that features President Thomas Jefferson. On the obverse, it was first issued in 1938 and has a depiction of Jefferson's home Monticello. On the reverse, there have been special editions and variations throughout the years, but the overall design has remained relatively consistent. If you have specific questions about these coins, such as their history, value, or collecting tips, feel free to ask. Start with a surprising fact about the rarity of the 1989 USA 5-cent coin, such as its low mintage, or unique features that could make it valuable. Introduce the 1989 USA 5-1 coin and its significance in coin collecting, setting the stage for why viewers should care about its potential value. Discuss the common misconceptions about the value of older coins and the challenges collectors face in determining what makes a coin rare or valuable. Explore the features of the 1989 USA 5-cent coin, including its design, mint marks, and any known variations that collectors should be aware of. Reveal the current market value of this coin and any auction results or sales that highlight its worth, creating excitement around the potential for profit. Summarize the key points discussed regarding the rarity and value of the 1989 USA 5-cent coin, reinforcing its significance in the coin collecting community. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. coinage, specifically the 1989 Jefferson nickel. If you're a coin collector, you probably already know how interesting these little pieces of history can be, so whether you found one in your pocket change or you're considering adding it to your collection, let's take a closer look at the value and history of the 19,895-cent coin. First, let's talk about the design. The 1989 Jefferson nickel features the familiar design of President Thomas Jefferson. On the obverse, you'll find a portrait of Jefferson created by the renowned artist Felix Schlag. This has been the standard design for the nickel since 1938, with some minor modifications over the years. Of course, you'll also notice the year 1989, which marks the specific issue of this coin. Moving to the reverse side, the design shows Monticello, the famous home of President Jefferson in Virginia, which has been featured on the reverse of the Jefferson nickel since 1938. This iconic structure is a symbol of Jefferson's architectural vision and his legacy in American history. Now that we've covered the design, let's discuss the value of the 1989 Jefferson nickel. If you're wondering how much this coin is worth, it depends on its condition and whether it's been circulated or not. Let's break it down. If you've got a regular circulated 1989 nickel, it's worth about 5 cents. The face value of the coin. These coins are very common, so they're not worth much more than what you'd expect to pay for them in regular circulation. But if you happen to find a 1989 nickel in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been used much and still looks brand new, its value could be a little higher. In uncirculated condition, a 1989 nickel can be worth between 25 cents to $1, depending on how pristine it is. Now, if you've got one of these rare gems in proof condition, that's a whole different ballgame. Proof coins are specially minted and are usually produced for collectors. A proof 1989 nickel can sell for anywhere from $1.50 to $3.00, depending on demand and the state of the coin. So, while the 1989 Jefferson nickel may not be worth a fortune, it's still a nice coin to add to your collection, especially if you find one in exceptional condition. Coins like this offer a glimpse into U.S. history, and they're a great way to connect with the past. Did you know that the Jefferson nickel was originally introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, which had been in circulation since 1913? The coin has seen several design changes over the years, but the core design, featuring Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, has remained remarkably consistent. Another cool fact is that the 1989 nickel was minted at all three U.S. Mint: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. So, if you're a collector, you might want to check your coins for mint marks, which will tell you where they were made. And finally, as a collector, you might also be interested in knowing that the 1989 nickel was part of the regular annual circulation, so it didn't have any special commemorative status. Like some other years, still, it's an important piece of numismatic history. The 1989 Jefferson nickel is a part of the Jefferson nickel series, which has a rich history dating back to its introduction in 1938. Here's a deeper look at the history of the coin and the significance of its design, including the 1989 issue. The Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel, which had been in circulation since 1913. The design of the Buffalo nickel, though iconic, was prone to wear and tear due to its relief design, making it difficult to strike consistently. The U.S. Mint decided it was time for a change, leading to the creation of the Jefferson nickel, the obverse front of the Jefferson nickel to a clad composition of copper and nickel, which remains to this day. The 1989 Jefferson nickel still carries the same basic design that was first introduced in 1938 with Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the front and Monticello on the reverse. Over the years, the design has been refined, but the overall look has remained quite similar, making the 1989 issue a classic example of this long-standing design. The 1989 Jefferson nickel was minted at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The mint mark found on the reverse side indicates where the coin was minted for regular circulation. Most 1989 nickels were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while San Francisco struck proof coins for collectors. The 1989 nickel is part of the long history of Jefferson nickels, and while it doesn't carry a specific commemorative significance, it represents a time when the design had become firmly entrenched in American coinage. By 1989, the design of the nickel was a familiar and beloved image in everyday life, and its continuity symbolized the stability and heritage of U.S. coinage. The Jefferson nickel, especially in its 1989 form, holds a place in American numismatics and cultural history as a symbol of the country's evolution. While the design was largely unchanged from earlier years, each new minting year brought a fresh perspective on the coin's history and value. In 2004, the U.S. Mint introduced a new series of Jefferson nickels to celebrate the bicentennial of the Louisiana Purchase. User is asking about the 1992 1-cent coin, specifically its full history. Let me start by recalling what I know about U.S. pennies. The Lincoln Memorial cent was in circulation from 1959 to 2008, so 1992 would fall within that period. The composition of pennies changed over the years, but in 1992, they were still made of 97.5% zinc with a copper plating weight. No, actually, wasn't there a change in 1982? Let me double check that. Yes, in 1982, the U.S. Mint switched from bronze, 95% copper, 5% zinc to zinc, with copper plating to reduce costs. So 1992 pennies are the zinc variety. Now the design, the obverse front, has Lincoln's portrait, which has been there since 1909. The reverse back from 1959 to 2008 was the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo. So the 1990 penny would have the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Mint marks. The 1990 penny could have been minted in Philadelphia. No mint mark Denver D or San Francisco S. The S mint mark is usually for proofs, but I should confirm if there were any circulation strikes from San Francisco in 1990 to weight. San Francisco mainly does proofs, so circulation pennies would be from Philly or Denver mintage numbers. I need to look up the exact mintage figures for 1990 to let me recall. In the early 90s, the mintage was in the billions. For example, 1992 had Philadelphia minting around 6.6 billion, Denver around 7.4 billion. That's a lot, so they're common in circulation errors or varieties. Are there any notable errors for 1990 pennies? Maybe some repunched mint marks or die cracks, but nothing major, like the 1992 Close AM variety weight. No, the Close AM is actually a 2000s thing. And maybe the 1992D with a repunched D. I should check that some sources mention AD over D repunching, but it's not extremely rare. Collectability since they're so common. Most 1992 pennies aren't valuable unless in pristine condition. A circulated one is worth face value, but uncirculated might be a few. Since the key is the mint mark and condition, the 199 to S proof would be worth a bit more maybe. A couple of dollars weight. Also in 1992 there was a special commemorative coin for the Olympics, but that's a dollar coin, not the penny, so no connection there. So putting it all together, the user wants the full history, so I should mention the design, composition, mints, mintage numbers, any varieties or errors in collectible value. Make sure to clarify that while common, certain mint marks or conditions can affect value. Also correct any misconceptions about composition changes. Confirming that 1992 is post-1980 to zinc design and composition. Obverse front features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, unchanged since 1909. Reverse back depicts the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo, introduced in 1959 to replace the Wheat Ears Desigy composition 97.5% zinc core with 2.5% copper plating. This composition began in 1980 to prior pennies were 95% copper. Mints and mintages: Philadelphia no mint mark 6,621,584,060 to pennies. Minted most common Denver D mint mark 7 billion for 140 to 1,635,128 pennies. Minted also widely circulate San Francisco S mint mark, only produced as proof coins, part of annual proof sets with a mintage of 3,047,700. Key varieties and errors: repunched mint marks RPM. Some 1992 D pennies show a doubled or repunched D mint mark, though these are minor varieties and not highly valuable unless in pristine condition. Die cracks or errors: occasional minor die cracks or off-center strikes exist. 1. Set 1990 to full history profile. Thinking completed. OK, the user is asking about the 1990 to 1 cent coin specifically. Its full history. Let me start by recalling what I know about U.S. pennies. The Lincoln Memorial cent was in circulation from 1959 to 2008. So 1992 would fall within that period. The composition of pennies changed over the years, but in 1992, they were still made of 97.5% zinc with a copper plating weight. No, actually, wasn't there a change in 1982? Let me double check that. Yes, in 1982, the U.S. Mint switched from bronze, 95% copper, 5% zinc to zinc, with copper plating to reduce costs. So 1992 pennies are the zinc variety. Now the design: the obverse front has Lincoln's portrait, which has been there since 1909. The reverse back from 1959 to 2008 was the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo. So the 1990 penny would have the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Mint marks: the 1990 penny could have been minted in Philadelphia no mint mark, Denver D or San Francisco S. The S mint mark is usually for proofs, but I should confirm if there were any circulation strikes from San Francisco in 1990 to weight. San Francisco mainly does proofs, so circulation pennies would be from Philly or Denver. Mintage numbers: I need to look up the exact mintage figures for 1990 to let me recall. In the early 90s, the mintage was in the billions. For example, 1992 had Philadelphia minting around 6.6 billion, Denver around 7.4 billion. That's a lot, so they're common in circulation. Errors or varieties: are there any notable errors for 1990 to pennies? Maybe some repunched mint marks or die cracks, but nothing major like the 1992 Close AM variety weight. No, the Close AM is actually a 2000s thing. It may be the 1992D with a repunched D. I should check. that some sources mention AD over D repunching, but it's not extremely rare collectability. Since they're so common, most 1992 pennies aren't valuable. Unless in pristine condition, a circulated one is worth face value but uncirculated. Might be a few cents. The key is the mint mark and condition. The 1992 S-proof would be worth a bit more, maybe a couple of dollars. Weight also in 1992. There was a special commemorative coin for the Olympics, but that's $1 coin, not the penny, so no connection there. So putting it all together, the user wants the full history, so I should mention the design, composition, mints, mintage numbers, any varieties or errors, and collectible value. Make sure to clarify that while common, certain mint marks or conditions can affect value. Also correct any misconceptions about composition changes. Confirming that 1992 is post-1982 zinc. The 1992 U.S. 1-cent coin penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was minted from 1959 to 2008. Here's a detailed overview of its history and key details. Design and composition. Obverse front features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, unchanged since 1909. Reverse back depicts the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro, introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat ears design. Composition 97.5%. Zinc core with 2.5%. Copper plating. This composition began in 1980. To prior pennies were 95% copper mints and mintages. Philadelphia no mint mark. 6,621,584,062. Pennies minted. Most common Denver D mint mark. 7,440 to 1,635,128. Pennies minted. Also widely circulated San Francisco S mint mark. Only produced as proof coins, part of annual proof sets with a mintage of 3,047,700. Key varieties and errors. Repunched mint marks. Ransom 1992. D pennies show a doubled or repunched D mint mark, though these are minor varieties and not highly valuable unless in pristine condition. Die cracks or errors. Occasional minor die cracks or off-center strikes exist but are generally unremarkable. Collectability and value. Circulated pennies typically worth face value 1 due to high mintage number. Uncirculated pennies. Historical context. The 1992 penny reflects the U.S. Mint's focus on cost efficiency, using zinc instead of copper to reduce production expenses. No major commemorative designs were tied to the 1990 penny, though the Lincoln Memorial reverse honored Lincoln's legacy. We're diving into the world of numismatics with a spotlight on the 2017 Jefferson nickel coin. This may seem like an everyday coin, but guess what? It could be worth big money. Join us as we explore its history, unique features, and why it's catching the attention of collectors everywhere. To understand why this coin can be worth big money, let's start with some background. The 2017 Jefferson nickel was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint made a significant change to its composition, and that change has a direct impact on this coin's value. Now let's take a closer look at the coin itself. What sets the 2017 Jefferson nickel apart? On the reverse side, you'll find the traditional Monticello design, but here's where it gets interesting. Some of these 2017 nickels have a unique error that makes them incredibly rare and valuable. The key to understanding why this coin is worth big money lies in its rarity. The 2017 Jefferson nickel with this specific error is exceptionally scarce, as collectors know rarity often translates to value, and that's precisely what makes this coin so intriguing to collectors. So just how much is the 2017 Jefferson nickel with this unique error worth today? Well, that can vary based on factors like condition and demand, but some have been known to sell for substantial amounts, turning a simple coin into a surprising treasure. For those of you interested in coin collecting, here are a few tips. Always keep an eye out for unique and unusual coins like this one. They might hold hidden value. Carefully assess the condition of your coins, as it greatly influences their worth, and don't hesitate to join coin collecting communities or consult with experts to expand your knowledge. The 2017 Jefferson nickel may seem like just pocket change, but it's a prime example of how the 5-cent coin in the United States, commonly known as the nickel, has a long history. Here's a summary of its history leading up to the 2017 coinage. Introduction of the nickel. The 5-cent piece was first introduced in 1866, primarily made from a mix of copper and nickel. The coin was originally known as the shield nickel and has undergone many design changes over the years. Historical designs: Liberty Head nickel, 1883 to 1913. The first 5-cent coin featuring Lady Liberty Buffalo nickel, 1913. 1938, this famous design featured a Native American on one side and an American bison on the other. Jefferson nickel, 1938. Present, designed by Felix Schlug, this coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and has seen various changes and commemorative editions. Modern minting. By 2017, the Jefferson nickel was the standard 5-cent coin in circulation. The coins were made primarily of a mix of copper and nickel, with a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. 2017 minted coins. The 2017 nickels maintained the design featuring Jefferson on the front and Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse. The U.S. Mint released several nickels for circulation during that year, collectability and commemorative issues. Over the years, certain nickels, including those from specific years or with distinct mint marks, have become sought after by collectors. The 2017 nickel itself did not have any significant releases or commemorative editions. Cultural impact. The nickel has played a significant role in American currency and has been featured in various popular cultures, often symbolizing various themes in American life. If you are looking for specific data or events related to the minting of the 2017 5-cent coins, please provide more detail and I would be happy to assist. Thanks for watching my videos, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.